Everyone, welcome to week 5 of the iOS app development course. Thank you all so much for sticking with us this far, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed the course so far and have learned many useful and interesting skills from the course so far. And this week, we will be starting a new project, which is Parstagram, an Instagram clone app using Parse as your data backend to uh, basically create an app with the same basic functionality as Instagram. Uh, this Parstagram app, as you can see, if you customize the user interface, you could have it look like Instagram, or you could also just have it with only the most basic necessary components only. And you will be able to go to the assignment tab and check out the walkthrough video again. For today's lecture, I would first like to take everybody to look at the overview of the app first, since we're introducing a new project.
All right, I'm excited to introduce you to the project this week. This one's one of my favorites. We're going to be building a clone of Instagram, but we're not going to use their API. For the first time, you're going to build your own custom backend API. Once you learn how to do this, you'll be able to use the same techniques to build any app idea you can think of. Let me give you a tour of the app. The first thing that we're going to do is sign in. Authentication is going to be required in pretty much any app that you build. Once we've signed in, we're going to be taken to a feed of posts. Similar to Flickr or Twitter, we'll need to be able to fetch something from the database. In this case, it's posts, but it could be users, messages, products, anything else. We'll also need to be able to create data. In this case, we'll also get to play around with the camera a bit, which will be fun. But we could also be creating a like or a comment, or if we were cloning Lyft, we would be creating a ride request. We'll add a comment here and we'll create the new post. Once that's done, we should see it appear in the feed. That's it. Those are the core use cases for the week. We created a user, we want to fetch some data, and we want to create some new data. Through this, we'll also get a basic idea for how to design the schema for your app. A schema is basically just the tables that you have. So for example, you'll likely have a users table. Others tables will be things like posts for this app, but it might be also tables like messages, products. The schema also defines what properties are in each table. For example, in our post table here, we'll have properties for the image and the caption, and we'll have a reference to a user, but that user will actually be in another table. Finally, I want to talk about the backend technology that we'll be using. For rapid prototyping of mobile apps, there's really two common platforms. There's Parse, which we're using, and there's Firebase. Parse is a well-maintained open source project, and it's built using Node. Node is one of the most commonly used backend technologies that uses JavaScript. Firebase is owned by Google, and they're both built on top of MongoDB for the database. Now, personally, I prefer Parse. I think it's better designed for most use cases, and I think it has some key features that give it a leg up on Firebase. I also like that it's open source, so it's under your control, and it's pretty easy to read the JavaScript code that it's built using. Also, you might think that because Firebase is owned by Google that it's better, but Google, in my opinion, has a reputation for introducing technologies that they quickly abandon with really no warning to their developer community. That said, you should check it out and see what you think. But for this case, next you're going to follow the directions on the assignment page to sign up for Back4App. Back4App makes it easy to create a new Parse app, and it's free. You're not tied to Back4App in the future, but it saves you the hassle of having to spin up a machine to host the Parse app yourself. Once you have that done, I'll see you in the next video to talk about authentication.
Right? And a little bit of detail about the backend usage. Backend is for any kind of app You have a front end and a back end, and the front end is basically what the user interacts with, and the back end is everything besides that, where the data is processed and stored and returned to the user once it's requested. And for Parstagram, we will be using user authentication, which you will be signing up for an account that you will be later able to sign in and be able to retrieve your user data. And you will be able to create objects like posts, comments, products, stories, tweets, etc. These are the actual data that's being stored within the tables. And querying tables will allow you to retrieve this data for uses such as any kind of calculations or just returning data. This data such as showing a post, a comment, or even displaying if a post is liked or not. And relationships, you will be able to learn more about relationships in detail in the later videos. Again, Parse versus Firebase. Firebase is very, very popular, but Parse is open source as being a lot more stable. So, which is why we choose to use Parse. And so that was mostly it. And you will learn more about the app in the later videos. And again, a little bit of review. The submission of the assignments will be through the course portal. So always remember to submit your assignments on the course portal as soon as you finish the assignment. And again, the deadline of the assignment is midnight before the session next week, which is Tuesday at midnight. And again, be sure to check out the discussion forum if you have not, and see that you may be able to get help from the discussion system if you're not able to get help from the TAs or me or the tech fellows. And before you guys go on and start working on your assignments, but I will have to tell you guys that you guys have actually finished the first half of the like real lectures for building these apps. Since the second half of the course is the group project, and you guys are basically a quarter way through right now. And for that, we want you guys to fill out a mid-course survey for us to get a feedback on how you feel about the course so far in terms of just an overall feedback. If there's any area at all that you have any thoughts on how we could be improving the course, then you're welcome to fill out this form and let us know what we could do better. And this form will be able to help CodePath a lot in terms of modifying the curriculum in a broader scale. So please be sure to fill out this form so that CodePath can better serve you and other students as well. And I will be providing the link to all of you guys later on. Right, and you guys are free to work on the assignments after you fill out the mid-course survey. Please be sure to fill out these surveys since they are very, very helpful for us CodePath. Right, and as always, for a wrap up on the next session, we will be working on Parstagram again, and it will be our last assignment. And since this is the last assignment, I really encourage you guys to work on the bonus project for these and the last as well, so that you could make up for the missed points that you have missed before. And again, assignments posted by Tuesday at midnight. So be sure to get started early. So when you run into issues, you can use resources like the discussion forum, Slack channel, or asking new other tech fellows for help. And besides the pair programming that we have been doing during the lectures, again, we really encourage you guys to form groups, uh, study groups outside of lecture to work on these assignments together so that you may be able to collaborate and practice technical communication with one another and get through these assignments easier, especially with minor technical issues that arise that you may or may not receive help immediately for. Having a peer to work with will be very beneficial. And lastly, um, after our last assignment project, it will be the group project phase will be starting. So you want to begin forming groups for the group project phase and select teammates that you know you will be comfortable and happy working with so that you can build a great app that you are satisfied with or um, a really brilliant app idea that you're able to realize with your brilliant teammates. And if there's no any questions, we'll see you next session. If you have any questions later on, feel free to email me using Slack channel to message me or through the group me. And thank you guys very much. I'll see you next session.